The return date for Bronson Reed and Jimmy Uso, a very strange update on AJ Styles' injury situation, Tiffany Stratton fired, the WWE replaces LA Knight, an update on CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman's message to the OG Bloodline, Backstage reports on John Cena and The Rock appearing on Raw's Netflix debut, why the Wyatt Sicks lost on Raw. Let's dive right in. A very strange update on AJ Styles' injury situation. AJ Styles hasn't been seen on WWE television since he suffered an injury on SmackDown in October. For those unaware, the Phenomenal One injured his ligament during a match against Carmelo Hayes. The company is keeping quiet on Styles' future, prompting fans to engage in guesswork. On the latest edition of Live Q&A on Backstage Pass, WrestleVote spoke on whether he had heard anything about AJ Styles' status. While the insider confirmed the injury to be legit, he said he hadn't heard anything from WWE as it pertains to an update. When he got hurt on that Friday night, I heard immediately, okay, it's legit. I haven't heard a word about AJ Styles since. It's very strange, to be honest. Not a word. So, whatever it is, they're keeping it quiet all the way around. Styles was involved in a high-profile feud with Cody Rhodes before his match against Carmelo Hayes. Both men battled for the undisputed WWE Championship at back-to-back premium live events, with Rhodes retaining his title on both occasions. The American Nightmare is currently in a feud with Kevin Owens. Both men are set to lock horns for SmackDown's top title at Saturday night's main event on December 14th. Fans will have to wait to see which of these two superstars will emerge as the winner. Tiffany Stratton fired. Last week's Friday Night SmackDown was significant, as it marked the beginning of WWE's transfer window. Numerous stars from the Red brand were seen backstage with SmackDown GM Nick Aldis, potentially to capitalize on the opportunity and switch brands for better booking. However, a major superstar from the Blue brand was seen having a secret meeting with Adam Pearce on this week's Raw. This might upset Aldis, and the star could face some consequences. During the latest episode of Monday Night Raw, fans spotted Ms. Money in the Bank Tiffany Stratton having a conversation with general manager Adam Pearce. This is a subtle hint that the buff Barbie may be planning to jump ship to the Red brand. Amid Tiffany Stratton's secret meeting, an infuriated Nick Aldis may confront the 25-year-old superstar this Friday. He could remove her from the Women's United States Championship tournament, despite her advancing to the semifinals after beating Naomi and Elektra Lopez in a triple threat match last week, as punishment, and might even fire her. However, this is speculative at this point. Tiffany Stratton has had a memorable 2024 on the main roster, as she has managed to grasp the WWE Universe's attention and gain support, establishing her as a future megastar in the Stamford-based promotion. The 25-year-old became Ms. Money in the Bank at the titular PLE in Toronto, Canada, earlier this summer. The coming months could be career-defining for the buff Barbie. She could cash in her briefcase on reigning Queen of the Ring Nia Jax and be crowned as the WWE Women's Champion. The WWE replaces LA Knight. Former WWE United States Champion LA Knight might be replaced by a 40-year-old superstar as the next potential challenger to Shinsuke Nakamura and his US title. The superstar in question is Santos Escobar. The Legado del Fantasma leader could be the next challenger WWE pushes against Nakamura, while LA Knight stays out of the title picture for a while. The former US champion might be involved in some other storyline on the Blue brand, as he has been involved in the US title storyline for the past few months. He won it from Logan Paul at WWE SummerSlam 2024 and held on to it for nearly 4 months before losing it to Nakamura at the recently concluded Survivor Series War Games Premium Live event. In last week's episode of SmackDown, LA Knight came out to confront Shinsuke Nakamura once again, but was interrupted by Andrade, who said that he wanted to take on the King of Strong Style. They were surprisingly attacked by Solo Sikoa and his Bloodline members, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Knight and Andrade could now be booked in a storyline with the Bloodline, specifically against Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. The two can team up to face the Bloodline members, while Shinsuke Nakamura might be involved in a storyline with Santos Escobar for the title. Nakamura might feud with the former NXT Cruiserweight champion at the Royal Rumble PLE next month. The storyline might start with Nakamura facing one member of Legado del Fantasma, possibly Berto. During the match, Escobar could come out and attack Nakamura, thus staking a claim for the United States Championship. This booking would further be beneficial for Escobar, as the 40-year-old superstar hasn't featured in a big storyline since WrestleMania 40, where he teamed up with Dominic Mysterio to take on Rey Mysterio and Andrade in a tag team match. Escobar faced LA Knight for the WWE United States title in a losing effort on the August 23rd edition of SmackDown. Since then, he has not been involved in any title storyline, and the company can now use him to further elevate Shinsuke Nakamura. Further, Shinsuke Nakamura is expected to retain the US title for some time, as the 2018 Royal Rumble winner seems to be booked to be quite over on the roster currently. Nakamura returned on the November 15th edition of SmackDown after a hiatus of nearly 7 months. He disappeared from television soon after losing to Sheamus in an episode of Raw in April 2024. He, however, competed in some dark matches during this period. It remains to be seen for how long Shinsuke Nakamura retained the US title. An update on CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins is, arguably, the most talked about feud on Monday Night Raw at the moment. Both men have had verbal and physical confrontations in the last couple of weeks, convincing the WWE Universe of a looming matchup between the two rivals. Speaking during live Q&A on Backstage Pass, WrestleVotes provided the latest update on a previous report that CM Punk versus Seth Rollins would apparently headline Raw's debut on Netflix. While the insider didn't explicitly confirm the location, he did imply that all signs pointed to the match taking place on January 6th. I followed up on that report. I got back from one source that they haven't decided completely, and I got back from another source that said, looks that way. So it's clearly on the table. It's trending towards that for January 6th. I think Dr. Chris Featherstone may have nailed it on the head that this match is going to be the main event, although I can't confirm at the moment. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins was supposedly the plan for WrestleMania 40, but Punk's injury reportedly forced WWE to shelve the angle. Rollins ended up taking on Drew McIntyre in a major world title opener that saw the Visionary lose to the Scottish Warrior, only for McIntyre to lose the World Heavyweight Championship to Damian Priest, with the Money in the Bank cash-in. Punk and Rollins reignited their feud in the aftermath of Survivor Series. War Games 2024, after the Voice of the Voiceless, helped Roman Reigns and his crew defeat the New Bloodline and Bronson Reed in a dramatic men's War Games match. Fans will have to wait to see if CM Punk versus Seth Rollins headlines Raw's Netflix debut. Paul Heyman's message to the OG Bloodline. WWE Hall of Famer. Paul Heyman recently took to social media to send a 3-word message about the OG Bloodline after the latest edition of Monday Night Raw. The Wiseman came in clutch for Roman Reigns' team ahead of Survivor Series, War Games 2024. After being attacked by Solo Sikoa on an edition of SmackDown, Paul Heyman went on a long hiatus from television. The Hall of Famer made his electrifying return just before Survivor Series, War Games, and came to Reigns' aid by revealing CM Punk as the 5th member of the OG Bloodline for the men's War Games match. This proved to be fruitful for the original Tribal Chief, as his team emerged victorious against Solo Sikoa's stable at the Premium Live event. Paul Heyman recently took to his Instagram story to upload a photo of himself and the OG Bloodline as action figures, recreating their pose after winning the men's War Games match. The Wiseman also sent a 3-word message, highlighting how incredibly stacked Roman Reigns' team was for Survivor Series, War Games. What a crew, Heyman mentioned. Ahead of Survivor Series, War Games, Paul Heyman revealed that he owed a favor to CM Punk for agreeing to join the OG Bloodline for the War Games match. At the time of writing this, no one knows what the favor is going to be. On an edition of his Not Sam Wrestling podcast, Raw personality Sam Roberts discussed what he believed CM Punk could ask from Paul Heyman. Roberts said, "The best in the world could ask for a title opportunity from the Wiseman if Roman Reigns ended up winning the undisputed WWE Championship again. You told me not to worry about War Games, now War Games is over, so what's the favor? I personally still believe, as I believed after watching Survivor Series, the favor is going to end up being, my Tribal Chief, the favor is that if and when you reclaim the WWE Championship, nay, your WWE Championship, then CM Punk will be able to call in an opportunity at the championship whenever he desires. It will be interesting to see what favor Paul Heyman owes to CM Punk after Survivor Series War Games." Backstage reports on John Cena and The Rock appearing on Raw's Netflix debut. WWE is admittedly pulling out all the stops for Raw's Netflix debut. The Red brand will become exclusive to the streaming giant come January 6th. Fans are anticipating some big surprises and names to pop up in Los Angeles, California for the show. Speaking during live Q&A on Backstage Pass, WrestleVotes provided an update as it pertains to which WWE legend could show up for Raw's Netflix debut. He named John Cena and The Rock as the 2 superstars currently confirmed to appear on the show. Are you counting Rock as a surprise, or are you counting Cena as a surprise? I mean, they'll both be there. I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Austin showed up. I've heard that Shawn Michaels may make an appearance. Anybody that they have under a Legends deal that is healthy enough to be in Los Angeles, I would expect to be there. The Rock hasn't appeared on WWE television since Bad Blood 2024, when he popped up to have a staring contest with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns following their win over Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Cena, on the other hand, will kick off his retirement tour in January. The 16-time world champion announced his retirement at Money in the Bank 2024. Fans will have to wait to see which WWE legends will make it to Raw's Netflix debut. Why the Wyatt Sicks lost on Raw? The WWE Universe was left stunned when The Miz and the Final Testament defeated the Wyatt Sicks on Raw this week. While their 8-man tag team match has some massive spots that made a lot of headlines around the world, distraction from Scarlett and the surprising return of Paul Ellering eventually led to Uncle Howdy getting pinned. Since the massive swerve on Raw, fans have not left an opportunity to showcase their shock at the surprising decision. However, with the massive loss for the Wyatt Sicks, it is clear that the faction is not done with The Miz and Karrion Kross's crew. In a recent post on X, former NXT champion Karrion Kross addressed his massive victory on the Red brand, explaining why the Wyatt Sicks lost. Kross blamed the WWE Universe to be the problem and the reason why their heroes couldn't win. You are the bad guys in this situation because they needed you more than you needed them, and you couldn't be there for them the way they needed you. You are the problem. You've always been the problem. You've been the problem every time using these wrestling catchphrases like buried and pushed. Please, your brains are buried under miles of crap. Your egos are so inflated that you can't stand getting busted rooting for somebody who lost, said Kross. Karrion Kross has been showcased as one of the most influential and confusing characters in the entire wrestling industry lately. He has indirectly been the reason behind some of the most surprising decisions, including The New Day abandoning Big E. The star has managed to get in the heads of many, including The Miz, who turned on R-Truth, Xavier Woods, ultimately leading to The New Day's heel turn, and Drew McIntyre, leading to him turning to the dark side. Now, with his massive pinfall victory on Raw, Kross getting a massive push from the company seems quite a possibility. Time will tell what WWE has in store for the 39-year-old in the future. The return date for Bronson Reed and Jimmy Uso. Bronson Reed and Jimmy Uso paid a huge price at the recently concluded War Games match at Survivor Series. Both men were injured after they hit their finishers from the top of the cage at Survivor Series. War Games 2024. It seems the WWE Universe won't see one of them back in the ring anytime soon. During a recent edition of Live Q&A on Backstage Pass, WrestleVotes provided a backstage update on the return timeline WWE was looking at for Bronson Reed and Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso, as far as I know, January. Bronson Reed, I believe, WWE are targeting May, if not June. So that's unfortunate. You know, not to say that's the same injury at all, but Adam Cole snapped his ankle last year at AEW Grand Slam, and he was out almost a year. So, it's going to be a while for Bronson Reed, unfortunately. WWE confirmed that Reed suffered an ankle injury during a recent episode of SmackDown. The promotion further noted that the former NXT North American champion would be out for an indefinite period of time. Reed took to X, formerly Twitter, to share his reaction to the announcement, saying that his spirit was unbreakable. Reed's injury also reportedly forced WWE to scrap major plans for a lengthy feud with Seth Rollins. Fans will have to wait to see when the Australian superstar gets back to the ring.